Hello everyone, this is Flashback, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at Team Xecuter's update for their SXOS custom firmware version 1.4. And I'm also going to be doing a giveaway for a license for the SXOS custom firmware. Before we get started, I'd like to let everyone know, anytime you install homebrew or custom firmware on your Nintendo Switch, it becomes at risk of being banned from online gameplay and eShop access. So if this is something that you're concerned about losing, then this custom firmware might not be right for you. So even if you revert back to official firmware, you're still going to be at risk. There's really no going back after you install custom firmware. Custom firmware equals risk. Alright, now back to a positive note. If you're looking just to purchase the SX Pro or the SXOS activation license, you can find these both at sky3ds.com, and I'll make sure to post a link down below. Now for the giveaway, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I might regret this. So what I'm looking for is funny comments. You can either make fun of me, you can roast me, you can talk positive about me. I'm just looking for some humor in the comment. And the only rules is you got to keep it clean, no profanity or cussing. And after 2 weeks go by, I'm going to pick the top 3 comments that have the most likes and pick the winner between them. And I might be able to give away more than one license, but for now, one for sure. And if you're looking for a guide for the SX Pro or the SX operating system, I'll leave a link to this video in the description down below. And here's a look at some of the updates for version 1.4. We now have an integrated NSP installer, so we can install eShop NSP titles. They've also integrated the Homebrew launcher, so what that means is that the Homebrew menu is now built into the SXOS custom firmware. And they've also addressed some Motion Plus issues for games like Resident Evil. There was issues with that Motion Plus not working correctly, so that's now supposedly fixed. They've also got rid of NCA integrity checks, so modified NCA files should work fine now. Also, now when you access the SXOS menu from the album icon, it will display whatever version you're on. For instance, if you're on version 1.4, it should display that inside the menu. And last on the list, if you've been having trouble with layered FS on Nintendo Switch firmware 4.10, those issues have now been identified and fixed. And one more thing I'd like to mention is that supposed brick code that was embedded in the SX custom firmware was actually some sort of password lock, and that was removed on version 1.3. Now I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of version 1.4 running on my Nintendo Switch. So now when we access the custom firmware menu from the album icon, we're going to have a couple more things we can choose from. We now have the option to install NSP files. They just need to be located on the root of the SD card, and they should automatically pop up. And here's a look at the Homebrew menu that's now built into the custom firmware, and this gives you access to all your Homebrew applications. Well, that's how it's supposed to work, but for some reason it's not displaying all my Homebrew applications. I'm not sure what the issue is with that right now, but we can still access the Homebrew menu the old-fashioned way by holding that right shoulder button on the top and pushing the album icon at the same time. But this only works if you have the Homebrew menu set up like I did in my previous videos. So out of my 10 Homebrew applications that I have installed on my SD card, only 8 of them displayed when I used the integrated Homebrew menu. So I'm sure that's an issue that'll get corrected here in the near future. And another issue I'd like to bring up, and it was kind of a big deal for me, is that when I'm using auto RCM and my battery completely dies, I end up getting stuck on a black screen and my Nintendo Switch dock will not charge my Switch. And I found the only way around this for me was to use an aftermarket charger to get my Switch to start charging again. And like I said, this only happens when I let my console go completely dead. And I really haven't heard of anyone else having the same issues I've had, but I thought I should bring it up and let you know. And one last thing, when you're inside the custom firmware menu, up here in the right corner is where it's going to display what version of firmware you're on. Alright everyone, it's time for me to get out of here. If you like that video, please click that like button. If you want to hear more from me, please subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, you can now find me on Facebook and Patreon. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.